Now in this video lecture we will go through sigma bond and pi bond, right? So just to start with, any bond, right, whenever we talk about a covalent molecule, right, for example oxygen molecule, hydrogen molecule, right, or nitrogen molecule, the bonds, right, if we take example of, say, this is hydrogen, right, this is oxygen, this is nitrogen, right. In the first molecule you have single bond, double bond and your triple bond, right. So these bonds, right, these bonds are either sigma bond or a pi bond, right, depending on the overlapping of orbitals between the atoms, between the combining atoms, right. So I'll just write it over here. The bonds are, these bonds are either sigma or pi bond, right, depending on overlapping of orbitals. Overlapping of orbitals we have done in the previous video lecture, right. So you should have an idea of what is overlapping of orbitals, right. So let's just talk a little about overlapping again. If suppose, let's talk about the first molecule, hydrogen molecule. Hydrogen molecule is formed when two hydrogen atoms, right, hydrogen has one electron, so each of the hydrogen atom need one more electron. So what they will do, both these hydrogen atom will share one electron, right, to complete their doublet, that is two electrons in the outermost orbit, right. So this electron now belong to both the hydrogen atoms, right. This is your, we called it earlier, shared pair or bond pair of electrons, right. It is due to these two electrons that a bond gets formed between hydrogen atoms, right. Now let's look into the more deeper picture. What happens is, when any of these atoms, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen, when they come close to one another in order to form a bond, right, and why they form a bond, so that both of them can attain stability by acquiring 2 or 8 electrons in their outermost orbit, right. So when they come close to one another, these atoms will form bond by sharing of electrons, right, and these electrons are actually present in orbitals, right, they are actually present in orbitals. And we know from the structure of atom that an orbital is a shell consists of subshells and subshell consists of orbitals, right, and it is these orbitals that contain these electrons, right. So when we are talking about sharing of electrons between two atoms, right, what we actually mean is that the orbitals containing these electrons will interact, right, or better word is they overlap, right. Like you can see that these two are overlapping, because in order, if these are two different hydrogen atoms, if they want to share their electrons, they need to come close to one another, right. So when they come close to one another at a particular distance, right, when we have discussed this in previous lecture, when the attractive forces balances the repulsive forces, at that point these orbitals on these two hydrogen atoms will interpenetrate or overlap, right, they overlap to form hydrogen molecule, right. So when they overlap, they will share their electrons, right, they will share each of their electrons, and that electron pair now belongs to both the hydrogen atoms, right. This is how things happen if you look into the more deeper picture. So in case of nitrogen also, depending on the orbital, the orbitals will come close to one another and they will form a bond, right, same as this. So actually what is happening is overlapping is taking place when a bond is formed, right. So it's right here, a bond gets formed, it's formed by overlapping of atomic orbitals, atomic orbitals, right? And what these orbitals are, sp-df orbitals, right? We'll mainly deal with sp-d orbitals in this chapter. So now bond gets formed by overlapping of atomic orbitals, right? Now depending on the type of orbital, right? If we talk about, suppose this is an orbital and this is an orbital, these two orbitals overlap, right? And this is your overlapping region, right? Now which contains electrons, right? And what kind of, we have discussed this in previous lecture, what kind of orbitals are these? These are, before overlapping, these are half-filled orbitals. These are half-filled orbitals, right? So overlapping of, let's write it over here, half-filled atomic orbitals, right? So this is the overlapping region, right? Due to which contains, this overlapping region contains the shared pair of electrons, right? And depending on how better these two atomic orbitals overlap, right, the bond is strong or weak, right? This is your overlapping region, containing shared pair of electrons, right? And depending on depending on extent of overlapping, a bond is a strong or a weak bond. A bond is strong or weak, right? If this overlapping is good, right, if overlapping is good, then a bond is strong, right? Because we have more overlapping region, more is the overlapping region, more is the space that these electrons get to move, right? Because it is due to these shared pair of electrons that a bond is get formed, right? Because these are two hydrogen nuclei, right? And these nuclei are attracted by these shared pair of electrons, right? So it is this shared pair of electrons that hold these two atoms together in a molecule, right? So better is this overlapping region, better is the bond, right? Or stronger is the bond. And if the overlapping region is good, it's better, then a strong bond is formed. To the strong bond we call it a sigma bond. Sigma bond denote, this is the sign using which we denote sigma, right? And if overlapping is less, right, if overlapping is poor, then the bond is a weaker bond, right? And what we call the weaker bond, we call it a pi bond. To this we call it a pi bond, right? So here in sigma bond, overlapping is good, and in pi bond, overlapping is poor, right? So let's see the orientation, because finally the overlapping depends on the orientation of orbitals, right? The better overlapping, right? For better overlapping, there should be particular orientation of these orbitals, right? So let's look in case of sigma bond. In case of sigma bond, the overlapping of orbitals should be along the internuclear axis, right? This overlapping should be along the internuclear axis, right? So let's take some examples. SS overlapping, right? First is your SS SS overlapping. The example is hydrogen. We know that hydrogen molecule is formed from two hydrogen atoms, right? And we know that we've discussed this before, that in order to understand the overlapping concept or valence bond theory concept, because all this is based on valence bond theory when we talk about overlapping, you should know how to write the electronic configuration, right? So electronic configuration for hydrogen is 1s1, right? This is, let's say this is HA and HB, two different hydrogen molecules combined to form two different hydrogen atoms combined to form a hydrogen molecule, right? Similarly HB 1s1, right? So both the orbitals of hydrogen atoms, this is 1s is your orbital. This orbital of hydrogen atom contains one electron, right? So both these hydrogen atoms want two electrons. So both these hydrogen atoms will approach one another. So at one point their orbitals, s orbitals, will interpenetrate, or they will overlap, right, to form a bond between these two hydrogen atoms, right? And we know that the bond is formed along the internuclear axis. This is your internuclear axis, right? So here you can see that the bond is formed along the internuclear axis, right? We also call this overlapping as, this is your sigma bond, right? This is end to end or head on overlapping, right? Let's take another example. Let's take the example of hydrogen fluoride. Now this is your SS overlapping, where s orbitals overlap along the internuclear axis, right? Internuclear axis means axis that is passing through both the nucleus, right? Now let's take example of another overlapping, that overlapping along the internuclear axis. Let's take the example of sp overlapping. Right, formation of hydrogen fluoride molecule. Let's see how orbital interaction takes place. Let's do one thing. For hydrogen, electronic configuration is 1s1. For fluorine, electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1, 2x2, 2py2, 2pz1, right? 1s2, 2s2, 2px2, 2py2, 2pz1, right? And the condition for now, how bond will get formed? Bond will get formed when orbitals of hydrogen and fluorine will interact, right, or overlap, right? So here orbital half filled, and what kind of orbitals will overlap? Only half filled orbitals will overlap. Half filled orbital means an orbital can contain maximum of 2 electrons. So half filled means one orbital, right? So if you look at these, all these orbitals contain 2 electrons, right? 1s2, 2s2, 2px2, 2py2, right? It is only this 2pz orbital of fluorine atom that contains 1 electron, right? That is, this is half filled, right? And this is your p orbital, right? So p orbital will overlap with s orbital when hydrogen and fluorine molecule will come close to one another in order to form a covalent bond, right? Because hydrogen will try to complete 2 electrons and fluorine will try to complete 2 electron in 2pz orbital. So this and this orbital will overlap, right, to share their 1 electron. Now this one electron pair would belong to both hydrogen and fluorine. It belongs to hydrogen 1s orbital and 2pz orbital of fluorine, right? So it's a kind of a common property that belongs to both the atoms, right? So the condition for overlapping is, we have mentioned here, only half filled orbitals will overlap, and there is one more condition, half filled orbitals and the electrons should be spinning in opposite directions, right? If you remember, as per Pauli's exclusion principle, electrons should be spinning in opposite direction, should be like this. If this is your orbital, we always write electrons like this. This means electrons are spinning in opposite direction. So when hydrogen and fluorine will approach one another in order to form a bond, right, it would be like this. Right, plus this is 2pz1, right, of fluorine atom, plus 1s1 of hydrogen atom. Right, I've shown them with opposite arrows because they both should be of opposite spin, half filled orbitals and electrons with opposite spins, right? This is how this bond will form, and this is your overlapping region, which and this overlapping region is again along the internuclear axis, right? So this is your s orbital, this is your p orbital, s orbital. This is your sp overlapping, right? And this is your head-on collision. This p orbital and s orbital are overlapping head-on or colliding head-on, right? So this is your sigma bond, which is a strong bond again, right? This is your sp overlapping. Now there is third kind of overlapping, which is your pp overlapping. pp overlapping, which would be again along the internuclear axis, right? Because in order to form a sigma bond, right, the overlapping should always be along the internuclear axis. So for pp overlapping, we have formation of fluorine molecule, right? So the electronic configuration for fluorine is this, right? So here Fa, 1s2, 2s2, 2px2, 2py2, 2pz1. Fb is 1s2, 2s2, 2px2, 2py2, 2pz1, right? So all these orbitals are doubly filled. These are not singly filled, they have 2 electrons, right? Only these two orbitals, only these two 2pz orbitals are half filled, right? So when two fluorine atoms will approach one another, right, their p orbitals will overlap or interpenetrate, right, and they will share their 1 electron, right? It would be like this, right? This is your Fa, right, 2pz1 plus right, electron with opposite spin. This is your Fb, 2pz1, right? It will form molecule like this. This is your overlapping region, right? This is your overlapping region, and since this is along the internuclear axis, so it will form a sigma bond, right? Single sigma bond like this, right? So I hope this is clear. So overlapping should be along the internuclear axis. When the overlapping is along the internuclear axis, what you get is a sigma bond, which is a strong bond, right? Because overlapping is to a good extent in these cases when the overlapping is along the internuclear axis. For s and p orbitals, the overlapping is to a good extent, so we get a strong bond, right? Because more is the overlapping region, right, the more space these electrons get to move, right? And it is due to these electrons that are in the overlapping region that the two atoms are bonded together, right? So better is the space for these electrons, better is or stronger is the bond, right? Now the second type of bond is your pi bond, right? Pi bond is your weak bond, right? Why we say it a weak bond? Because pi bond, the overlapping is less better than the sigma bond, right? Because here the overlapping is perpendicular to the internuclear axis, right? It is perpendicular to the internuclear axis, or we can also call it as the sideways overlapping of p orbitals. Right? So it's like this. This is your p orbital. Suppose this is your px orbital. Px orbital will only overlap with another px orbital, right? So when it will overlap like this, right, and this is your internuclear axis, right? This is your internuclear axis. So you can see this is your along the, this is perpendicular to the internuclear axis, and this is your overlapping region. This is your overlapping region above and below the internuclear axis, right? That is why we say that overlapping is poor in this case, right? Right, and this overlapping is to a smaller extent. If you look at this, this overlapping is to a smaller extent compared to this head-on overlapping, right? This is your sideways or lateral overlapping. This is your sideways or lateral overlapping, right? This is formed by overlapping of pp orbitals, the pi bond, right? And the overlapping is to a small extent. That's why it's a weak bond, right? And electron cloud is unsymmetrical. If you look at the electron cloud of sigma bond, right? This bond, it's like this. It's symmetrical, right? But electron cloud of this is half is above and half is below, right? So electron cloud is again unsymmetrical, right? Whereas electron cloud is symmetrical in case of sigma bond, right? Electron cloud is symmetrical, right? This is unsymmetrical in case of pi bond, right? And here sigma bond is formed by head-on overlapping, right? Head-on overlapping, and pi bond is formed by sideways overlapping or lateral overlapping. These are some differences between sigma and pi bond, right? Which many times you get in exams, right? So here the most important thing that you should remember is that overlapping extent, right? The better is the overlapping extent, like in case of sigma bonds, which when the overlapping happens along the internuclear axis, stronger is the bond, right? Whereas in case of pi bond, overlapping is poor, right? Here and overlapping is poor, and this overlapping cloud is unsymmetrical, half above and half below, right? So this leads to a weak bond, right? So whenever we study molecules, first a sigma bond is formed followed by a pi bond. There is no molecule that contains only pi bond, right? First a sigma bond is formed, then a pi bond is formed, right? For example, let's take some example where you have sigma and pi bond. Let's take example of oxygen molecule, right? Let me just rub this little. Let's take example of oxygen and nitrogen. Let's see how these molecules get formed, right? Oxygen molecule, the electronic configuration for oxygen is oxygen has two bonds, right? If you look at the, I've mentioned in the beginning, oxygen has two bonds, right? And its electronic configuration is, when oxygen forms, these two oxygen atoms will come close to form oxygen molecule, right? And overlapping is 1s2, 2s2, 2px2, 2py1, 2pz1. Similarly, other molecule of oxygen 1s2, 2s2, 2px2, 2py1, 2pz1, right? So the condition for overlap is half filled orbitals and electrons should be in opposite spin, right? So half filled orbitals are 2py and 2pz of both the oxygen atoms, right? So these will overlap with one another, right? So it would be like this. Right, let's say this is your y and this is your z, right? Same is with the other, right? Same is with the other. You have two orbitals. One will overlap head on, right? And the other will overlap like this, sideways. These two orbitals will overlap sideways, right? So due to this overlapping, there are just remember there are two orbitals. One is this orbital, right? You can see that in electronic configuration you have two half-filled orbitals. One is this orbital, the other is this orbital. Similarly for this atom, one is this orbital, the other is this orbital. So these two orbitals will overlap head-on, right? And now they have shared this electron. One bond is formed. Now these two will also overlap laterally or sideways like this, right? So when they overlap laterally, like perpendicular to the internuclear axis, what they form is a weak bond because of poor overlapping, right? And these two orbitals, right, they overlap along the internuclear axis, right? So they overlap to a good extent, right? So what they form is a sigma bond. So oxygen molecule has one sigma bond which is due to head-on overlapping and one pi bond which is due to another orbital overlapping, right, which is due to sideways overlapping or lateral overlapping. So we say oxygen has double bond. One is pi bond, one is sigma bond, right? Now you know more about these bonds if you look at these bonds. And similarly, let's take the example of nitrogen, right? Nitrogen electronic configuration is it has three orbitals which are half filled. Electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2pz1. This is for nitrogen, right? 2py1, 2pz1, right? So the overlapping would be like this. It would be like this, right? Similarly, another nitrogen atom will come to form a bond because nitrogen has triple bond. We'll see how the triple bond formation takes place. We have three half-filled orbitals, right? The third orbital is this, right? So one orbital is overlapping head-on, right, and two orbitals will overlap sideways. If this is py, this is your py, and this is, if this is pz, this is your pz, right? And pz will overlap with pz and py will overlap with py, right? So this one bond is due to head-on overlapping, which is a sigma bond, and this one bond is due to py and py, right? Py orbital and py orbital of another atom, right, which is your lateral overlapping like this, right? So one pi bond. The third bond, which is between pz and pz orbital, which is again a pi bond, because this is due, both are due to lateral overlapping, which is poor overlapping, and they form a pi bond, right? So this is your, nitrogen has one sigma bond and two pi bonds, right? So I hope this is clear. There are some differences of sigma and pi bond that you should know, and just remember the poor overlapping and the good overlapping. The good overlapping will make a strong